All right, everybody. Kaplan Pitch Tank. Let's have a round of applause. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Kaplan Institute. We are so grateful, so humble to have all of you join us. We know it's the end of the semester. Students are busy with finals. You had to come in through the rain, and so we appreciate it. Let's have a round of applause for the audience. Thank you for joining us. We have a very full day planned. I don't know if you saw the agenda in the pamphlet that you got at check-in, but it's pretty much jam-packed. We are going to have 2 presentations from our entrepreneurship professors, Mariam Saleh and Nick Grokop over to my left, followed by our 5 finalist pitches. These 5 startups have been working so hard for the last year, and for some of them more than a year, in the startup studio building their companies. They've been putting their heart, blood, sweat, and tears into these projects, and so for every startup that comes out, I would love for us to just give them thunderous applause and really give them the kudos they deserve for the efforts they've put in this semester. You can take it from me right now. I'm shaking a little bit. It's hard to stand on stage and present in front of a crowd full of people, and so it might not be perfect. You know, the train might go by in the background and cause a little bit of a disturbance. That's what the entrepreneurship style is. We don't like for everything to be perfect. So I would ask you as the crowd to give your best faith to the students, support them if the train comes by and the noise is too much. I would really appreciate that. I'm going to hand it over to Mariam to kick us off with a little bit of explanation about the entrepreneurship program. Before I do that, a brief introduction. Mariam is the executive director here at the Kaplan Institute. And it's been a privilege to have her teaching this Startup Accelerator class. She's been giving amazing advice from her personal experience about entrepreneurship, and has really been a blessing to see her in the classroom teaching, along with Nick Grokop, who she will introduce after her talk. So let's give it up for Mariam Saleh.
Give it up for Sonny, too. He's such a great MC.
Yeah.
You're going to hear more from him in a minute.
Great job, Sonny.
Yeah, so I couldn't come up here on my own, so I'm going to do this with Nick. He's been my co-faculty for this, such a supportive faculty member. Couldn't have done this without you, so thank you for being my partner in running the startup studio. So, you know.
Or sound.
Yeah, no sound either. Hello? Yeah. So we don't have a presentation for you today because our students will have a presentation for you. We're here to just say thank you. You know, thank you to the coaches. So Alex, Mel Sorensen, Karuna Rawani, Elliot Goldman, and
Sonny himself.
Sonny was a coach. We were coaches.
Mariam was a coach.
Yes, and Nick was a coach. And the students couldn't be where they are here today if it weren't for people spending much more than what we told them they had to spend with the students to get them ready for the competition today. But it was a really, really great experience. So today you're going to see some pitches and a story, but the real story is the story that happened when the students were building their companies. You know, and I'm going to focus on team dynamics because it's something that is really important and part of the learning lessons that you can get by starting a company, even when you're still in school. So, you know, when you're in the classroom and you're taking classes on by yourself, you're never engaging with other team members, and so the things that happen in real life when you become a professional just don't happen. You know, so if you have conflict with your team, you know, you don't know who's responsible for what. You have a deadline coming up and, you know, not everybody's as committed. How do you deal with those issues? And every single one of our startup teams had to identify those types of issues and address them in the last 5 months, and they've learned a ton. And the coaches were really helpful in helping them address those challenges. So I'm glad you went through that, and for the teams that are pitching today, you'll see how useful it was to go through that experience when you're out in the world.
And I can tell you for sure that, you know, team dynamics is really important because in my life, My first company was with my father. I worked with him for 17 years. He fired me twice. After the second time, that was the end of it. And I wish I would have learned a lot of things that we taught here. I wish I would have had that experience while I was in school when it wasn't a matter of many millions of dollars of loss. So, and, you know, a lot of issues with family, so, yeah.
Any other insights that you have about anything else you want to say?
Yeah. So I've been here at IIT since 2007. My first job was a little bit like Mariam's. I didn't have a building. I had a couple staff members, but I ran an entrepreneurship center. And as part of that was not just advising and helping student and faculty and community entrepreneurs, but also some teaching. And over the years, I've taught iPros, I've taught entrepreneurship classes, undergraduate and graduate. And, you know, most of the time, as you all know who take classes, you tend to have a professor and the rest of the class. I've never had an experience like this where, you know, we've had the resources that this whole institute has brought to bear. And while there were a few companies that started out of my classes, but not systemically like what's happened here. The difference between the quality, the support, and the resources that we've been able to provide is just so much different, and you're going to see that. And Mariam said something about team, but I'm a big fan and believer of the learning doesn't happen here, the learning happens out there. And one of the really interesting things is that we've been able to get our students to actually talk to outside people, not just to their classmates, not just the people on campus, but the real customers, and to get out of the building, which is really hard when you're in college, when you're a young entrepreneur and inexperienced. So you'll see here that there's every one of the teams is actually got a lot more reality to it than an academic project. And that is what makes the difference.
Big time.
So.
All right, and then the final thing that Nick and I learned over the semester is that we need to get out of the way and stop lecturing and talking. So we're going to do that right now. Time for the pitches.
Thank you. Before we get into the first pitch, couple of notes. First off, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, the Coleman Foundation, Silicon Valley Bank, and Wintrust Ventures. Quick round of applause for our corporate partners. Also, a big thank you to the judges in the front two rows. This would not be possible without your help, and so thank you for coming and volunteering your time with us. The one final thing I want to address before we get into the pitches is the pitch stage. I know that it's a little bit uniquely designed, and so as much as possible, I just want to encourage you to get comfortable. You can feel free to scoot back so that your back is actually against the wall. If you want to sit cross-legged, put a knee up, anything goes as long as the people next to you are comfortable. So please do get as comfortable as you can. If you're still standing, there are some open seats in the second row if you care to come down and fill them in. But without further ado, we can go on to the first team. I asked each team to send me a few things about themselves, which I could share with all of you as a type of introduction without giving away too much about their startup. And so I thought I'd just kind of share with you what our first team discreetly presented to me. So the first is that Vinay has lived in over 4 countries, most notably India, Canada, US, and Poland. Vinay and his co-founder, Jibu, are actually best mans at Vinay's wedding, so that's kind of exciting. Vinay likes to collect different scotches, is an avid golfer, and loves the Chicago Bears, whereas Jibu is more of a fan of the New York Knicks. And the one thing they didn't tell me, which I thought I should include, is that Vinay actually sometimes brings his cute, adorable little child to class. And so I just think that's the most dedicated thing to balance fatherhood with entrepreneurship. And so I had to throw that in there. But without further ado, please, round of applause for our first team, Discreetly.
Hello, everyone. We're here to tell you about our company called Discreetly. Discreetly is a resource platform for doctors to be able to provide the best healthcare for their patients. My name is Vinay, and I am the CEO of Discreetly. And this is Jibu, and he's the COO of Discreetly. And we are both very excited to tell you about our company today. Jibu and I have been best friends for over 20 years. And approximately 11 years ago, we both took a Hippocratic Oath on our graduation day from medical school. The Hippocratic Oath requires physicians like ourselves to always do what's best for patients and their health. And this oath has really stuck with us for the past decade and has also served as a guiding light for our company.
Vinay and I have over 15 years of combined industry experience, working for some of the top healthcare systems in the world. Based on our experience, we have identified a major need in the industry.
So our mission is really simple. We want to improve the quality of patient health. We want to do this by providing doctors with access to information around new medications and helping them in their treatment decision process.
So I work in healthcare data analytics, and the data has shown that there is a major disparity in healthcare. We can clearly see this even in our own backyard. So if we take a cancer patient, for example, a cancer patient can get completely different treatment going to one hospital as opposed to another hospital, just 9 miles apart. So to put that into context, you think about it, cancer patients can change based on their medication, they can truly change the outcome of a cancer patient just by getting this information.
So in the US right now, we spend almost $500 billion on prescription medications. And oftentimes, these might not be the best medications for a patient. The top 1,000 pharma companies in the US have dedicated a huge budget to medical experts known as medical science liaisons, or MSLs. And one of the primary roles of an MSL is to provide education to doctors around these new medications. However, based on our industry experience, we know that these resources are still largely underutilized. So market research has shown us that a large percentage of doctors require frequent information around new medications in a quick and easy way. Pharma companies have this information readily available, but the challenge that they face is with communicating and connecting with these healthcare providers. As a leader of an MSL organization myself, I know firsthand the problems that MSLs face every day in connecting with healthcare providers. And so with that in mind, Discreetly was created to really solve these two unmet needs. So Discreetly has a lot of sub-features, but the three main features based on our customer feedback is the comprehensive database on newly approved medications, the ability for a physician to receive frequent updates around their commonly prescribed medications, and most importantly is the on-demand access to a medical science liaison. So basically, a doctor can look up a medication, learn about the product, and if they have any questions, at the tap of a button, can talk to a medical science liaison right away. And this is what the platform will look like. So when it comes to our market size, we estimate that a lifetime value of $1.25 million per pharma customer, which makes our average SAM to be about $1.6 billion, and our average serviceable obtainable market to be approximately $50 million.
So our subscription, our company, Discreetly is a subscription-based contract company. And what we're planning on doing is a 3-tiered approach. And so essentially, what an MSL's job is to be an expert on the information. And so with this company, with our average contract value of $250,000, which is equivalent to that salary, we can essentially improve the amount of access they have to a doctor. So, in terms of competitive analysis, our key feature is the MSL on-demand feature, which is not available with none of our competitors. In terms of market entry, we have already spoken to 2 major healthcare institutions across the country, and then we have also spoken to 2 pharmaceutical companies. Specifically, Syneos Health, which is a $5 billion industry, has already approached us and sees the value of Discreetly. They have wanted to pilot with us.
So apart from our industry experience, we've also surrounded ourselves with a very knowledgeable advisory board that has really helped us with the development of Discreetly. And we also look forward to leveraging their connections to help us grow our business. When it comes to our financial model, we forecast that Discreetly will do approximately $10 million in year 3, and we hope to do approximately $42 million by year 5 of being in business. So with that said, we are looking to raise $3.75 million in seed funding. Jibu and I have a lot of industry experience, and we want to leverage this experience to create improvement in healthcare. Every doctor should feel confident that they are providing the best healthcare for their patients, and they can do this with Discreetly, but we need your help to do this.
Ask yourself, do you feel confident that the doctor is prescribing you the best medication? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. If you are wondering what this is, it's a microphone. It is our judges' microphone, as we now have 5 minutes of judges' Q&A. So judges, anyone want to ask the first question?
Hello, my name is Mert. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you, Mert.
Can you just give us more details on the pilot with Syneos Health? How much are they paying you? What are the outcomes they're looking for in order for them to become a full paying long-term customer?
Yeah, so with regards to the pilot, right now they're waiting for us to complete the development of our prototype. We've talked to actually 4 of their VPs. To give you a little context around Syneos Health, they provide contract medical affairs teams or medical science liaison teams to different pharma companies, and each of those VPs are responsible for 4 different contracts. So and one of their contracts actually has a pilot MSL program without a system in place. And so when we approach them and talk to them about Discreetly, they see the value in it, and they're really waiting for us to finish the development, and then we can kind of go forward with piloting the product. As far as the cost is concerned, we're looking to maintain that same ACV of around $250,000, which is really a drop in the bucket for pharma companies at this point. So,
Great.
As individual consumers get more in control of their own healthcare, I'm curious how you see your product evolving to support the kind of inquisitive cancer patient who wants to be able to have some direction in their own healthcare.
That's a great question. So with our platform, it's focused on providing doctors with access to medical science liaisons. Unfortunately, medical science liaisons are not allowed by government regulations to talk to patients directly. But one of the things that we're looking about for the future is to partner with patient advocacy groups and provide them with access to some of the information that we have on our platform. And then through the patient advocacy groups, they can disseminate that information to their patients. So that's a great question, and we're looking to kind of partner in that avenue as well.
Hey, that was great, guys. Just quick question. Are you supply constrained at all with the MSLs?
I'm sorry?
Are you supply constrained at all with the MSLs?
No, so the MSL is actually going to be provided by the pharma companies themselves. So basically what happens is the pharma company will pay for a subscription per MSL, and it's really based on the pharma company how many MSLs they want to have available. And typically when a product is about to launch, that's when pharma companies bring on a whole MSL team. And so with Discreetly, we'll actually be able to increase the reach of these MSLs to the different community providers and key opinion leaders. And so it'll hopefully actually increase their reach using the same amount of MSLs that they have on their team. To give a little context on that too, when I was at GSK, when they were piloting some sort of MSL on-demand program, they saw the value of this sort of service, and after 6 months, they actually contracted a whole second MSL team just to meet the demands that were coming in from healthcare providers at that point. So,
so great presentation.
Thank you.
What's the value of a third party doing this instead of the pharma company themselves?
That's a great question. So pharma companies have a lot of regulations and guardrails around communicating with doctors, especially medical science liaisons. Medical science liaisons have access to information that's not publicly available or is not on brand, for example. And so that limits them extremely when it comes to talking directly to the doctor. Because we're not a pharma company, we're a communication platform, this sort of helps them in the way that we're sort of centralizing a place where doctors can come and meet the MSLs and talk to them in a digital environment. Right now, the way this works is that if a doctor has a question, for example, like an off-label question, they have to put in a request for this question. It has to go back into the system. It has to be sent to the MSL. The MSL has to reach out to the doctor, schedule an appointment, and come back in, and that could take 2 to 3 weeks, which is not conducive to patient healthcare. And what we're trying to do is take that 2 to 3 week time frame and make it a 2 to 3 minute time frame for a doctor. Hey, Samir.
Hey, Vinay, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
A great presentation. My question is about the product. So I saw some mock-ups. Could you describe like the state of the product? Have you guys been building it in-house or contracting it out? And also, have you gotten feedback on it as well with what state?
So right now, we're actually we have a team contract in the UK called Hire Developers. They're working on the development of our prototype. That's part of the reason why we're asking for $3.75 million is because we really want to hire a full development team. Being in the industry, I can tell you that when pharma companies source a product, they want it to have seamless integration into their environment. And to do that, you need to have the right amount of people and the right infrastructure in place. And so we're hoping that once we have our MVP developed, we can raise funds and then get more people on so that we can move forward in that direction as well.
Can you guys talk about kind of like the chicken egg problem of like, are you guys listing all of these meds on there, and then companies that subscribe to you then get like that direct access to their MSLs, or are they only on your platform if they are subscribers?
So we're looking at two ways for that. The first thing is, that's one of the reasons why we need a lot of money too, is because the data ingestion into our platform is very expensive. And so that's why for right now we're focused on new medications to kind of limit that data ingestion. So our plan is to ingest all the newly approved medications into the platform, and then also go to pharma companies and allow them to update that information based on whatever new data that's being driven by their companies. And eventually the goal is to also expand that to all medication data that's available out there to make it more streamlined for physicians as well at that point. So.
Give one of these to the next team. All right. So now you guys get to see me do the entrepreneur shuffle, which is what I call rapidly multitasking. And so we're going to get through to the next slides while I tell you about our next team. The next team, Kinetic Footwear, also gave me a few facts. The first one of which is that Neil, one of the founders, once ate an entire yard worth of Twix, the candy. Reminds me of my younger days. The second fact is that Danny has been to Canada. I don't know if that's the most fun fact. Canada's nice, I guess. It's a good time, Niagara Falls. The other co-founder, Koshik, this is an interesting one, only owns one pair of pants. Kind of got the minimalist vibe going. I think it's at least cost affordable, so that's good. If you need to bootstrap your startup, just wear one pair of pants. And finally, Kale, this is so Kale, almost died falling off of the electric bike that he built. I call that user testing, I guess. All right. I hope that was enough stalling to give the judges some time to input their scores. I will stall for just a moment longer while we call up the next team. Let's have a big round of applause for Kinetic Footwear.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, clicker? Oh, hold on. No, you're good. Yeah. We want to be able to walk around, Yeah. Oh, we're good. Let's go. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sonny. So, hello, everyone. From 1960 to 1980, human energy consumption doubled. And then from 1980 to today, it doubled again. A majority of this energy still comes from burning fossil fuels, which has created the most serious challenge humanity has ever faced. While we've made tremendous progress in developing new sources of renewable energy, our search for clean power has been exclusively outward focused. What if, instead of looking externally, your source of power was you? So, before we present our unique solution to this problem, we'd like to take a minute to introduce ourselves. My name is Kale, and I've been passionate about sustainability ever since I did a year-long project on solar power in 6th grade. Since then, I've worked on a bunch of engineering projects involving everything from electric vehicles to renewable energy. Kaushik here has been a longtime friend of mine and has worked on many of those projects with me. Danny is our electronics expert and has experience in the electric power industry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Neil, and I have a confession to make. I suck at charging my phone. You can ask anyone who knows me. My phone's always in the red, and I'm constantly asking for a charger. I've also been a sneakerhead ever since I was in the 6th grade, and with that being said, we'd like to unveil Electroboosts, an energy harvesting shoe that can sustainably power your devices simply by walking. We've created a new standard for energy on the go with a continuous power capture of 4 watts. This energy is easily accessible via a removable rechargeable battery inserted at the heel of your shoe in a secure waterproof capsule. This energy can charge your phone to 50% in just an hour.
Imagine never having to worry about your phone dying while attending a concert or music festival. Imagine not having to wait in line to charge your laptop at a business conference or trade show. Imagine a backpacker who can charge their headlamp while they hike. Or imagine a military unit who doesn't have to rely on noisy generators or a hand crank to keep their radios powered. This is only the tip of the iceberg, however, since literally anyone who uses energy could benefit from our product. With that being said, you must be wondering, why hasn't someone done this already?
Well, over the past 20 years, methods such as triboelectrics, piezoelectrics, and electrowetting have been theorized, prototyped, and tested. However, they haven't really been able to capture that much power, and there are currently no products on the market. In fact, the only product we've actually seen are these boots from Soul Power, but they're really only a minor improvement over light-up Skechers, and they've been inactive since 2018. We really want to stress the fact that the reason these companies failed isn't because they didn't have a market or manufacturing was a problem, it's because they just didn't get enough power. Our simulations have shown that we can get 8 times as much power as Soul Power, our biggest competitor. This also means that the only way to charge your devices on the go is by using a portable power bank. These devices are great for storing energy, but they still need to be charged using typically non-renewable sources, and our market research has shown that although their use is widespread, nobody really loves power banks.
So this idea to capture electricity from walking started with a Kaushik senior design project last year. When his 1/5 scale prototype captured more energy than any of the full-scale designs we've seen, he knew this idea had potential. So then he brought the rest of us onto the team, and we built our first full-scale prototype, which you can see here. Unfortunately, it was way too rigid to be a comfortable shoe, and we had a bunch of issues with manufacturing tolerances. So then we went back to the drawing board, argued about all the different ways we could do this. I think we went through 8 different iterations before finally settling on the design that we're using today. And over the past 6 months, we've built our second full-scale prototype entirely from scratch based on this improved design. So having working technology is great, but putting it into a shoe is a whole other story. After talking to our 2 industry advisors, we realized that licensing our technology might be our best option. Licensing our tech to other companies could enable a whole new class of self-powered wearable electronics. This route also makes sense considering we're already halfway done writing a patent application with the help of a Chicago-based law firm.
One distinction we'd like to make clear is that we are an energy technology company first and a product development company next. Our goal isn't just to build shoes, rather provide access to energy wherever you are, and we believe we are the best company to do that. During my time as a professional dancer, I made a lot of connections with people in the sneaker industry. These connections have been important in improving our product and also getting insider information on the industry itself. After talking to big companies like Nike, we realized that in order to attract their attention, we need to make and sell a few thousand pairs of shoes. Shoe manufacturing is a difficult process, and in order to get to that part, we need your help to get us to the point where we can produce a pilot run of around 100 shoes. These shoes will be distributed to beta testers, whose feedback will be immensely helpful in ensuring that we have a market-ready product. Once our market and product are validated, we believe licensing is the fastest way to bring sustainable energy to the most people. With this demand for sustainable energy growing exponentially, we are perfectly positioned to meet this demand with our low barrier to entry. So who wants to help us step into a new age of power? Ready to go whenever you are. Thank you.
Great job, judges. Can I ask you to pass kind of the microphone amongst yourselves? Does anyone have an initial question yet?
I have a question about how you're going to prioritize what type of design for shoe to build, because hiking wears a different shoe than concerts, wears a different shoe than business events. Those are different people, different life stages, different shoes. How do you build as broad of an appealing shoe as possible?
Yeah, so the easiest way to answer that is by licensing. Our goal is, we're not a sneaker company, we're an energy technology company, and so once we have this technology there, Patagonia, for example, could take these boots and make a hiking shoe out of it, right? You could have JF Ferrar come and make a dress shoe out of it. You could have Nike make a sneaker out of it. That's really our goal about this, is having them kind of take care of the aesthetics.
Right, but getting those relationships in place takes a lot of time, and you're a small team. Who do you prioritize first?
Yeah, so our beachhead market right now is, we mentioned it earlier, is concerts and music festival goers. We believe that a very cool, high-functioning sneaker that has these capabilities of it, that can make sure that you can get into these concerts. If your phone doesn't die when you're trying to find a friend or anything like that, this would be our beachhead market to kind of target that and really get our product out there.
So it seems like this is a natural product for any kind of crowdfunding campaign like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Have you guys tried that yet, and why or why not?
Yeah, so we have not tried that yet. That's definitely something we considered and probably will do in the future. One example of kind of a similar product that actually was very successful on a crowdfunder campaign was a company called Shiftwear. So they created a sneaker that had customizable displays on the side of the shoe, and they raised $1 million just from crowdfunding. So theirs was not self-powered. You would still have to charge it, and no one wants to put their shoes on a charging pad every night. So with our self-powering technology on something like that, it could be a much better product.
It's also worth mentioning that Shiftwear was a scam. They do not have a product.
Great presentation. Can you talk a little bit about any safety concerns with walking around with a battery in your shoe?
Yeah, so that was one of the biggest things we've learned from our market research, right? People are worried, is it going to overheat? Is it going to catch fire? Is it going to blow up? Is it going to be waterproof? So essentially the only dangerous component in the entire shoe is the battery. We will have the battery in a sealed metal capsule, so it'll be indestructible, and then there'll be all sorts of charge protection circuitry to make sure that it doesn't get overcharged and catch fire.
Hey guys, I'm wondering why your market segmentation, if your monetization strategy is to sell to license to Nike, why are we identifying the end consumer and not the early adopters from a enterprise standpoint?
Could you repeat that? Sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your plan is once you've betaed this, you're going to license the technology to Nike. So Nike's your purchaser, right?
No, so let me go a little bit more into that. So when we talk to these bigger companies, they really liked our technology, they really liked our idea, but they had nothing to do with just taking this idea and running with it or licensing it immediately, right? Because at the end of the day, you can have a lot of good technology, but if no one wants to buy it, there's no real reason for a company to sell it. Or to acquire it. And so they said, if you can do something to show that this is going to sell, that there's a market for it, that people want to buy it, that's when we'd be interested. That's when we can start moving to the stages. And we heard this answer from multiple different companies. And so in order to get to that point where we have the confidence to license our technology, we have to prove that it's going to sell, that there's a market for it, initially just on our first type. And then when companies will see like, oh, there's a market for people that want power in their shoes, right? There's a lot of different industries, wearable athletic feedback, all of that stuff that could be powered by our technology that maybe hasn't been explored yet. And so proving to these companies that the technology works and that we can actually get it out is pretty important to us before we get into that licensing segment.
Thanks.
You'd mentioned in your presentation about a competitor. Can you walk through sort of the competition that's out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so SoulPower is the only company we've seen that has produced an actual product, has a video of it working. They raised like $275,000 in seed funding from the military. They use piezoelectrics, which is that technology just is incapable of capturing enough energy anywhere near as much as we can. So after the military realized that they were capturing milliwatts and not watts, they stopped funding and they've been inactive since 2018. There's quite a few patents for similar ideas, but SoulPower is the only one we've seen that has actually made a product.
So to that point of milliwatts versus watts, a couple things that could be valuable to a customer, number of watts, milliamp hours, weight, cost. What are the metrics that matter the most to your customer?
Yeah, so I think probably the biggest thing is comfort, right? So it needs to be a comfortable shoe, it needs to work, function as a normal shoe. It can't be too heavy, it needs to be waterproof. Those are probably the most important things. In terms of how much power we capture, obviously the more the better. But even if it's only 1 watt, that's still enough to get you through that concert or to get your radio powered. So it's still some benefit even if it's not enough to power up your car.
All right, thank you, Kinetic Footwear. And you've got me again, and we are going through the slides. If you are curious what I'm doing here, I'm going through the appendix slide of each team. They pretty much prepared 10, 12 slides just in case a judge asks them a question where they can point them to that slide. That's the level of preparedness that these teams have put into everything they do. I thought that was remarkable, and I didn't realize it when I was compiling all these slides. Up next, we have a company called Quickie Cards. And the very interesting thing about this company is that they are truly global. 3 of the co-founders are in Nigeria, and A few facts about the company. Quickie Cards, the company, is based out of Nigeria. That's where it was started. Femi and Sang, the two present co-founders, are both graduate students at the Stewart School of Business. Shout out Stewart. And a couple facts about Sang. He's lived in 4 different countries. He likes Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He claims he's not good. I'm not going to test him on that. Especially because of his last fact, which is that he's interested in bow hunting. Judges, maybe be a little careful when you're scoring this team. Kidding. All right, with that, it looks like everybody's finished putting in their scores, and so I'll introduce Femi and Sang. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. My name is Femi, and I'm the CEO and founder of Quickie Cards.
I'm Sang from marketing.
As an international student at IIT, I often crave local food and groceries local to my country. Thankfully, I'm able to satisfy these cravings using delivery services like DoorDash and Uber Eats here in Chicago. However, back home in Nigeria, my friends and family do not have access to delivery services like DoorDash and Uber Eats. In fact, about 3 years ago, my college friends and I had challenges getting food and groceries from the city center. As a result, we launched Quickie Cards in 2019. Quickie Cards provides last-mile delivery solution for businesses and individuals. We do this by leveraging WhatsApp and Instagram. We use Instagram to gain our customers, and we use WhatsApp to engage and retain our customers. The reason we choose these platforms are because Instagram and WhatsApp are the most used technology platforms in Nigeria, and it makes more sense to focus on that. Quickie Cards was born out of the need to enable people order food and groceries at their convenience, and also give merchants access to a wider market, which would help them grow and scale. While there are alternatives to our services, what stands us apart is our commitment and focus on helping small businesses grow, because these small businesses, they make up the Nigerian economy. Currently, we have about 60% customer retention rate because we have continuously focused on improved service delivery and customer experience. How do we make money? In the last 3 years, we've made money via service fees that our end users pay between $3 to $5. And also our merchants, they pay a commission fee of about 5% per order. And as part of our future optimization plans, we're looking at introducing premium service and premium pricing. Against all odds, we kept moving forward. In the last 3 years, 2019 that we launched, we have successfully bootstrapped the company with grants and monthly recurring revenue from Quickie Cards. In the last 12 months, we've successfully completed about 8,000 orders, and we currently have over 500 active users who use Quickie Cards at least twice in a week. Also, we generated about 5 million naira in the last 12 months in revenue. We are cash flow positive, and we are a real business. And in October 2021, we made top 5 finalists at the CEO Global Peace Competition in Florida. Nigeria has a population of about 200 million people. And this put our total addressable market at $10 billion. 50% of our population are young and tech savvy, and they have access to smartphones and technology. We're looking at raising $150,000 over the next 12 months. We plan to, use the money to onboard and acquire more vendors and delivery partners to scale up our operations. 2, we're looking at improving our product and even use an advanced technology as we scale. And lastly, we're looking at introduce other offerings geographically and also introduce other services like alcohol delivery, healthcare delivery, and grocery shopping. At Quickie Cards, we are building the next generation delivery service for the Nigerian market. On a personal note, I came to the US, to the United States in August 2021 to learn from all of you, to build my network, and to get the required resources and knowledge and expertise to improve Quickie Cards and build a successful company for the Nigerian market. Please join us as we build the DoorDash for Nigeria. Thank you.
Femi, Sam, great job. What have you learned from those first 8,000 deliveries so that when you launch in your second city, what will you do different?
So one major thing we've learned from our 8,000 deliveries is that one reason is our orders get very late, and also tracking our orders. So usually customers keep calling and saying, oh, where's my order and all that. So part of our innovation we're going to do is to integrate like a GPS tracking system into our WhatsApp chatbot that will enable customers to get real-time audit on their orders, so they don't have to keep sending us messages. And then in terms of payments, usually they use bank transfer to make payments. So what we're trying to do is to work with a payment company that will facilitate each payment, so we don't have issues with, oh, have you confirmed the payment, have you made the transfers and all that. So those are the things we're going to do differently. And also we're looking at, so one major thing for us is that our riders are not, rather than being employees, we rather use the gig economy model for them. So we give them the bikes, they pay, they earn. So as they earn, the bike is becoming, the motorcycles are becoming their own, will be their own. So they're not full-time employees, but they remain committed to the company. And those are the things we do differently as we expand.
So we're getting high retention rate right now already. We just have little amount of customers right now, but after that, we're going to consolidate the customer base in Ibadan first, and then expand to other cities.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank
so
you.
you talked about that you have 60% customer retention
rate.
Can you talk a little bit about why customers leave and why, talk about why customers don't stay with you?
Okay, let me see. So based on the survey that we did in March 2019, so one of the things our customers highlighted is that sometimes our orders come very late. And secondly, so one of the things our customers highlighted were their late orders. And then we also have, and at times they feel that our services is quite expensive because the regular motorcycle guys on the street will get it way cheaper for them. But those that know the value of the service we're offering for them, they stay longer with us.
So customers are leaving because of lack of variety in restaurants right now. But they're staying because we are committed to the delivering clean hygiene food to them.
Great presentation, thank
you.
So I know you mentioned that basically you're using WhatsApp and Instagram currently to promote and then also leverage
retain
orders.
and engage customers.
Right.
Yes.
In the product journey, is there any thinking about creating your own platform? What are the pros and cons to staying with the a product technology you don't own versus a technology you might potentially?
So that's a very good question. In August 2021, I was coming to the United States. Quickie Cards was my topmost priority, to learn how we could scale. And we understand that as we scale, the WhatsApp chatbots would not be sustainable for our business. So we have plans to build an advanced technology, which is why we are here today to get required to learn, which is the reason why we joined Kaplan, to learn the technology that will work for us, and also the support and the resources. And Miriam, Nick, and the Kaplan team has been doing a very good job in helping us get that knowledge, the support, and the resources we need to do that.
So you made a great point. Through WhatsApp, we can only have a certain number of customers, but we're gonna focus on WhatsApp model right now, and we're building websites. Right now, we need funding for that, so we're gonna mix it up after we get more customers.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Apologies if I missed this, but how are you onboarding the businesses or like the restaurants, and if you have a direct relationship there, I'm curious, like the challenges you face there.
So because it's kind of a new introduction to the market. So some of the restaurants they can be reluctant to partner with us. So usually our riders for the customers for the restaurant we cannot partner with, our riders have to buy like regular customers. So some of their fears could be that we are being a competition to their competitors, or some fears could be that they can't afford to take out 5% of their revenue from their business. So those are the challenges we are facing for some of the merchants. But what we're doing right now is that to engage more in user education, tell them the benefits of partner with Quickie Cards, they will get more revenue, more people. And if we show them working models and evidence that this is working, and give them some incentives, we believe that we'll be able to overcome the challenge of getting more vendors and merchants to partner with us.
So basically, what makes Quickie Cards special is we're trying to throw one stone and get two rabbits, because we're trying to give access for small restaurants to food-loving people in Ibadan. And secondly, we're committed to deliver a clean food. So those are 2 points for me. The market is mature, not enough as compared to America. So that's our opportunity for now to build our brand image.
Hey, how's it going? What's on the product roadmap for the rest of the year? Like, what are you guys planning?
Yeah, so first thing for us right now, we're working on a chatbot that would cater for at least 1,000 messages per day. So as we scale, we'll get a technical co-founder that will build an app that will be able to make payment, track your orders, and even manage every of your deliveries. And it's going to increase operational efficiency on our side, and also it will help the customers also love our brand, because they want to associate with the brand that makes life very easy for them.
Thank you.
All right. So up next, we have a special intermission video. The Startup Accelerator is more than just the 5 teams that you saw here today. There's actually 14 teams that have been participating throughout the semester, building their startups on campus, and we wanted to have the opportunity to showcase a little bit of all of the teams, not just the 5 finalists that we're able to present today. And so our student team, marketing and creative team, put together this video to show a little bit of the behind the scenes of our Startup Accelerator teams. Apologize in advance if the audio is a little bit quiet. When this is released on YouTube, we'll add subtitles. For now, you'll have to bear with us.
Hi, I'm Arinis. This is Casey and that's Dennis, and together we are Team Lucky.
Hello everybody, my name's Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ursula.
I'm Stanley. And together we're presenting Receptify at the Pitch Tank competition.
So my name is Juri Zeman, and I'm founder and CEO of Big Organics.
Hi, I'm Matt Horowitz.
Hello, I'm Thales Bastos.
I'm Amlan.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Hi, I'm Cornelia.
Hi, I'm Marissa. Hi, I'm Samantha. And we're the co-founders of Pill Skills.
None of them, they all suck. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What is the first thing you'll do if you win Kaplan Pitch Tank?
Well, we just go and not talk about this at all.
Post about it.
I'll go to Chinatown.
I'll probably call my mom, just because she won't be able to come to the actual thing, but I know she wanted to be there, so I'd probably call her and be like, yo mom, I'd fake her out though, I'd be like, mom, it didn't go well. You're like, what? She's like, what happened? And we're like, we won, but it was too easy. No.
Our team will have a dinner, celebrate dinner.
Go to Three Crown in Chinatown.
No. Well, we're not going to win the pitch.
No. Look. It's like walking around.
That is pretty funny.
If you could choose, which city would you establish your base for the startup? Which one would it be and why?
Personally, San Francisco, because the weather is nice there, and it has a very vibrant community, both musically and regarding
New York have a very big toy fair, so I think, and there is MoMA and other big museums and toy stores, so New York would be the best, I think.
I guess we should say Chicago.
Yeah,
It's a fantastic city.
Well, that would be Delaware, because Delaware, the taxes are quite very reasonable and affordable. And then Delaware is designed mainly for startups so that they don't get choked with taxes like other cities in the US.
If you had to choose a soundtrack or song theme for your startup, what would it be?
Walk it like a talk it.
Walk it like I talk it. Walk it.
I did it already for our video. You're the One by Kate Trinata. Well, it's gonna be the theme song for The Lion King.
I guess we are the champions, hopefully.
I Will Survive by Florida Dana. My hype up song is All I Do Is Win, so.
Which team's idea, if not yours, should win the competition?
I think the kill skills?
For me, I think it would be pill skills.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it.
I really like Receptify. Their idea and solution is really potent, and I know a lot of people on the team are super articulate and driven. And
when I say I like Kinetic Footwear's, I gotta say Quickie Cards.
If you could have credit for any invention in history, which would you choose?
To be Werner von Braun, because he invented rockets.
I would choose credit for theory of relativity.
Probably the Starship from SpaceX.
Invented rock music.
Who would you choose to be the brand ambassador of your startup?
To be the brand ambassador of your startup.
This guy.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with Ashton Kutcher.
There's an actress on Instagram who I really like. Her name is Wagatwe Wanjuki. She is absolutely fantastic. She's an advocate for survivors of sexual violence, and she does a lot of super interesting, innovative work. If she happens to see this, well,
I'll just go with Ryan Reynolds.
What does success look like for your idea?
I have been given an executive order to release the full-length director's cut after this event. I'm pretty sure we have hours of footage, and so you can expect a 30-minute video just like that one, but you can have your headphones on at home and make sure that you can hear every word. To respect all of your time, we're going to go ahead with our next team, Lockheed. As always, a few facts about Lockheed. First off, the team comes from a diverse background with founders from Guatemala, India, and Chicago. They are always hungry no matter the time of the day, which may have been the inspiration for the idea. And finally, this is our first time presenting in front of a large crowd. Well, let's make them feel welcome. Lockheed, everybody.
Oh, is it dead? It should be fine. Yeah, we got it. Hello. Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Dennis, Younghee, Arrhenius, and Casey, and we're here to present you Lockheed. Delivery today is abundantly available, but it is expensive and it is slow. I'm very confident that everyone in here has ordered food for delivery at least once and found themselves horrified by how expensive it can get. For example, a simple chicken and fried dish can go all the way up to $25 because of delivery fees, service fees, taxes, in addition to tips. And also you get cold fries. Like, who wants that? Because we certainly don't. Here's an actual photo from a leading company within the food delivery industry. A simple dish that costs $11 goes all the way up to $20, in addition to the 30 to 40 minute waiting time. That's horrible. So that's when the first idea came to us. Why isn't there a service that is the middle ground between going out and getting food for delivery? One that offers hungry customers like you, and me, pretty much the experience of a vending machine with the convenience of getting food for delivery at a cheaper price. And that's pretty much a vending machine on your mobile phone. And that's exactly what Lockheed is. Lockheed is a physical and digital on-demand platform that skips the waiting times, skips the delivery fees, and also skips tipping, in addition to having an abundant amount of food to pick from. Not only that, Lockheed's community-based locker hubs will provide consumers with a diverse amount of foods that are kept warm and fresh for you to pick up at your convenience whenever you want with a click of a button. With that, we have a vision of bringing communities closer with a meal. With that, we have a mission of bringing communities closer with one meal at a time, while we maintain our original mission of transforming the food delivery ecosystem through community-based foods. With that, I'll pass it to Arrhenius.
Thank you, Jan. Hi, let's see how Lockheed works for our customers. The journey starts when our partnered kitchens reserve their spots in the lockers. They tell us what type of food is being prepared. Now, they can either deliver it on their own or through our on-demand delivery services. As this happens, our hungry consumers use their mobile phones to look for what's hot and fresh in the nearby lockers. They simply reserve it up to an hour in advance before walking up to the lockers to pick it up, just like a vending machine. The journey ends when the customers rate their feedbacks and the data is gathered for the kitchens. Our customers only pay a flat 25% service fee. No delivery fees, no small order fees, especially no tips. A dirty secret that the food delivery companies charge for the restaurant is They charge hefty prices just to be part of it, such as enrollment fees and annual subscription fees. Simply put, Lockheed enjoys the margins of a food delivery service while functioning within the economics of a vending machine. We believe it's high time for Lockheed to establish its presence, especially that the pandemic has increased the industry's growth rate by 3 times. Our first customers, the cloud kitchens, are expected to be valued at more than $118 billion in the next short few years. Changing consumer behaviors and their pains with conventional services also validates our concept. Let's move on to Casey to talk about our future plans.
Thanks, Arrhenius. We are thrilled to have 4 partnership leads with 6 cloud kitchens who are committed to going live with us once we're out in the market. Hosting a 1-hour pop-up event, we were able to acquire almost 40 customers eager to try our service once upon launch. We've also came into a partnership agreement with Coloni, an industry-leading smart locker distributor who will be providing us with said lockers. Our goal is to acquire 6 more cloud kitchen partners, close a deal with Coloni to white label the lockers, and to create a fully functioning mobile app to pilot in locations similar to where we tested our prototypes. Universities such as UIC, DePaul, or even our very own IIT. And engage in social media marketing, targeting platforms where students are typically on to promote the pilot. Since students perfectly embody our customer persona, through our journey, one of the most memorable comments we've gotten from feedback is, from my perspective as a cloud kitchen owner, I think it's a different concept of food distribution that is thinking one more step ahead for the convenience of people. The following timeline outlines our required costs for the next steps. Funding is needed to secure our 6 additional cloud kitchen partners, finalize our app, and establish locations, each hosting a hub of 8 individual pods each to pilot. The goal of this pilot is to gain more market traction, earn profits, and to act as a foundation to increase customer acquisition for scaling to 8 locations by the end of year 1. We had formed this team because we had a vision to ultimately bring a diversity of food options to all. However, my fellow co-founders, both being master design and MBA students, and myself, a final year mechanical engineering student. In addition, we've had an incredible advisor, Alex Kane of Amazon Web Services, who has been incredible and instrumental in our progress thus far. Now, we have the demand. Every single cloud kitchen we talk to is hungry to get their food into our lockers and are already doing high volume through these delivery apps, but need another means to distribute. That's why we need your funding to feed our hungry students and to satisfy our hunger. Thank you.
Great pitch, thank you. So the one difference that I know between vending machines and Lockheed is that vending machines typically have items that are, not as perishable. So curious if you all have thought about like the food waste and how you'll make sure your supply and demand match as best as possible.
Yes. So that's one of the things that we're mostly concerned about, because obviously food is a perishable item and we want to maintain it as fresh as we can. So that's where we came up with the logistics that we will only keep food for 3 hours at a time. Anything that goes after that, we will be donating to the communities within the lockers. Because obviously, as we were saying, we're a very community-based startup and we want to make sure that we give back to the customers. And one thing about lockers, not only lockers, but also vending machines, is that they have to constantly get restocked, right? And we're very sure about that. That might be a problem for us. So as Casey mentioned, we actually went to UIC and did a test run where 2 of our people, Arrhenius and Casey, they were going for delivery on a rotational delivery service where one went to get food, one restocked it, while was there in front getting the orders. Within 1 hour, we were able to get 40 people who showed interest, bought from us, and even wanted to get some demand. But we were able to perfectly match the demand based on the rotational service that we provided.
Hey team, can you help us understand, outside of college students, what are some potential places for these vending machines to exist? What are some like nascent markets that you guys are considering going after colleges?
There's too many to list, but we'll go with a few of them that we actually explore a lot. One of them can be bars. For example, we actually talk with who goes to bars often, but then he says that the food there is not good. They don't even sell warm foods. So we thought about, what if we can place these food lockers within bars where people just walk up, open it, grab it, eat it, enjoy it, and that's it. So that's something that we already explored. Another place that we also talked about was public parks, public venues such as concerts, or even let's say Willie's Tower, where there's a lot of foot traffic. Sorry, the microphone's cutting. But yeah, where there's a lot of foot traffic going on, and that's exactly where we will use the first 6 months to test out where in these places will we be able to put these lockers, where we'll get a lot of traction, where we will get a lot of attention, and that's basically where we are going to place these lockers.
What's the biggest barrier to you guys scaling really quickly?
Scaling really quickly, I would say obviously it's going to be customers, right? Because these are lockers that have limited amount of foods that we can provide. It will basically depend on the demand that we get. If we don't get the demand to be able to match the amount of lockers that we have, obviously we won't be able to scale up. And one thing is that lockers can be costly too. And thankfully we have a partner with us who will be able to provide us with those lockers. But again, we want to make sure that we do vigorous advertising and marketing to be able to get Lockheed out in the market and everyone know about it so they will be able to buy from us.
So if you get good demand on one of the lockers, how quickly does it take to actually be cash flow positive so you can reinvest that into scaling into other lockers?
So one of the things that we're working on is making our lockers modular, so we'll be able to just put the lockers, more lockers in one station, or hub as we call it, depending on how many people want from it. For example, we're very sure that if we put one here at Kaplan Institute, they're going to sell way better than in the Red Line or somewhere else that there's not a lot of people, right? So we'll be able to move those lockers to wherever there's a lot of demand and pretty much match the demand as we go.
Love it.
What's your costing on service, breakdowns and other things? Have you
That's a great question. No, the other way. So I'll just quickly talk about it. So there's two sides to our business. There's the restaurant side who does the delivery from us, and there's a side from us for the customers. Please. Oh, sorry.
Not service, delivery service. But what happens if the lockers break down?
So we're currently in the talks with Coloni to see how much are the quotes per locker and how much they will be able to provide it for us to. So we're not fully sure what the exact number is, but we have to closely talk with Coloni to be able to provide you with numbers. And we're still in the works of that, so we cannot really say as of now.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Last chance for questions for this. If not, round of applause. Thank you, Lockheed. Thank you for being a good sport about the clicker. Note to self, next time you're hosting a pitch tank event, have AAA batteries on hand in your back pocket, just in case the clicker dies. Up next, we have a team called Pill Skills, a sister duo, which is super fun. A few facts about them. Marissa and Samantha have both been playing soccer since they were 5 years old. Sam played for Illinois Tech, and Marissa is now a volunteer for little 7-year-olds. They love adventurous vacations that include doing anything from scuba diving to whitewater rafting to skydiving. You can check with him about bow hunting. One of their favorite family traditions is camping each summer and terribly singing Take Me Home, Country Roads, I'm not gonna try it, out of tune with the entire Harkness side of their family. And finally, in case you were wondering, I was actually wondering, they're not twins. That's news to me. Let's have a giant round of applause for Pill Skills.
Got it, realized. All right, small right there. My sister and I have always wanted to be entrepreneurs. As kids, we started Sister Sitters, a babysitting service where we advertised 2 for the price of 1. We even went to parks to pass out flyers to parents, showing our hustle at an early age. We continued this mindset as we both pursued degrees in biomedical engineering. We had created a list of over 70 ideas and decided to choose 1 by the end of the summer. We weighed different categories such as knowledge, market size, and passion. This is how the idea for Pill Skills was born. Hi, I'm Marissa, the co-founder and CEO.
And I'm Samantha, the other co-founder and CFO of Pill Skills. A significant factor that went into us choosing Pill Skills was our desire to help our mom. Our mom is the inspiration, as she had never been able to swallow pills before. Growing up, we would witness this firsthand. She would regularly crack open a bottle of children's liquid Motrin and just take a swig of it whenever she had a bad headache. She would even forgo taking medications and refuse going to the doctor for any reason, as she was afraid and embarrassed she might be prescribed something she wouldn't be able to take.
I know what you're probably thinking. Why not just swallow it? But she couldn't. While she had no physical issues, she had built up a psychological one based on past negative experiences. As she gets older and medication becomes more important, she's at a genuine risk of not getting the proper treatments and vitamins that she may need. And my mom is not alone in this problem. The medication adherence issue leads to 125,000 deaths and over 10% of hospitalizations, costing the United States healthcare system upwards of $300 billion annually. Pill swallowing is a subset of this problem. The FDA cites that 40% of adult Americans struggle or can't swallow pills. This is a huge problem for pharma, insurance, and society in general. Our first solution is the Pill Skills Beginner Kit. Though it may seem simple, it came after 8 prototypes and over 100 discovery interviews with both medical professionals and customers. The kit includes practice pills, which are sugar-based, increasing in size and grouped into 7 levels. It also includes instructions based on a combination of existing medical research. There is a progress log for tracking success. It is intentionally designed with repetition, different shapes, and extra pills to build one's confidence. Whether our customers are young and just looking to learn, or older who may already struggle, both have benefited from our product.
There are many competitors that try to address the inability to swallow pills. People search for these solutions along with the key phrase, how to swallow pills, over 50,000 times each month on Google in the United States alone. This is a large market and people are looking for a solution. Our competitors, however, do not address the root cause and they're all inconvenient in a variety of ways. The Pill Skills Beginner Kit is unique because we teach this skill. The best part, Pill Skills is not just an idea. It's a real business with a real product, and we are really helping people. We have traction and are selling direct to customers online. It sells for $20 with a cost of goods sold of just under $4. We are excited for the next 3 to 6 months as we continue our go-to-market plan by improving our website and focusing on SEO and Google Ads. We have recognized the need for additional help in implementing our digital marketing strategy. Assuming that we are successful and with social proof demonstrated through sales and customer reviews, we will expand to pharmacies like Walgreens and CVS. In parallel, we will launch a medical device, an advanced kit, as well as other ideas we have that are geared towards the medication adherence issue. We are the right team to tackle this problem. We have the right degrees. Marissa worked in a swallowing disorders lab and is now full-time for Pill Skills. I will be full-time at the end of the year once I finish my master's degree. We also have an outstanding group of advisors that we have learned a lot from along the way.
Caring for people has always driven us. We're focused on improving the goals and helping people get the right medication they need and vitamins in the right dose at the right time. Please feel free to reach out if you have any suggestions or feedback to help us towards our mission. We'd love to hear from you. My personal cell and email is listed there. Or come find us afterwards to chat. We love to talk.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, we got our first judge. Can I throw it?
Can you share where you are on sales since you are live in the market?
Yeah.
Me? Yeah, you go ahead.
Yes, so currently we are selling online directly to customers like we said. We have sold 27 kits it is, so roughly around $500 on revenue. We currently the goal is to make launch an ad campaign in the near future to really show our product launch. So.
And sorry, where do those sales come from?
So we've run a few test ads. We're really to a point right now, a pivotal point where we really need to figure out marketing. We don't have any marketing experience, so they're organic and they're both through Google advertisements.
What's your defensibility? How do you prevent Pfizer or somebody else from seeing this as a good idea and having distribution and brand marketing dollars, et cetera? How do you defend?
So, sorry, just to repeat the question, how do we protect ourselves from
Yeah.
basically being taken over? Okay, so that's a very good question. To be completely honest, a lot of what we're going off of is the brand name and the face to the name, the first to market. We've spent a lot of time doing product market fit. We've actually considered in the future working with like Pfizer. Potentially they want to get their medication, they want people to swallow their medication, so maybe there being some sort of mutual worker agreement to at some point put our product in parallel with theirs to get people to swallow medication, because the medication adherence issue would help both them and
Yeah, we actually have talked to different lawyers and patent attorneys, and they pretty much suggested that we don't do a patent route just because it is kind of something that can be repeated, but it's more just the convenience of putting it all in one kit, putting helpful hints and other things all together in one versus trying to do something on your own.
For your customers, are you targeting then children like before they develop the aversion, or is it adults that already have it? And if so, then what's your success of actually like curing them of that aversion that they have to pills?
So right now, kind of a long story short, we were initially targeting proactively teaching, but we realized that we had to create brand awareness for that, and it was a lot, higher in the funnel, a lot more effort that had to go into it. So we started considering rebranding, and that's right at a point where we're at now. That's actually what we could use the funds for. And so we kind of took a step back and we're like, why don't we start with the people who are actively looking up how to swallow pills? And so that's kind of why we started going into Google advertisement, and we're addressing the people and our ads popping up to the people who actually want to see it. So it's not that we wouldn't want to go back towards children, we just noticed that there was a lot more education involved in it.
Cool. And then your success with that then, like is it actually working and resolving there?
Yes, yeah. Probably one of my favorite testimonials is a mom actually reached out to us, and she had bought the product for her daughter who had cystic fibrosis, and there was a medication that would double her daughter's life expectancy, but it only comes in pill form and can't be crushed. And so she's like, I was desperate to teach my daughter, as any mother would, for something that would double their daughter's life, and they used the product and she was able to swallow pills. So.
And then that is on the younger end, but on the older end too, our mom used our product actually, and now can swallow pills. Actually, since we've started, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease and has to actually swallow a daily pill every single day. So.
Last chance for questions? Nope. All right. One more round of applause for Pill Skills.
Thank you.
All right, that is our final finalist pitch. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of the finalists? I know at least a couple of them were in this building till like 1, 2 in the morning, working extremely hard on their decks, and personally, I think it shone through completely in the quality of the presentations. We've got a little bit of a break now while the judges are going to head up to the Maholi conference room and have their final deliberation session in order to decide our top 3 winners. As a reminder, we are going to be giving away $62,000 in prizes today. $12,000 to the audience choice competition winners, 6, 4, and 2 for first through third place, and a combination of $50,000 for the grand prize winners, $5,000, $15,000, and $30,000 for first place. So big awards are coming up in just a little bit. I know the audience choice competition was a wild, wild time. I told them, they could make it a little bit longer, and we said 30 minutes will be just enough time. I'm sure that they can visit 22 teams and hear all of their elevator pitches, and so I'm sure that that was definitely doable for you. Once the judges are deliberating, the last thing that we're going to be doing before the awards ceremony is a keynote speech. We have presenter Mark Agler here to give a talk about his book, and a good friend of his, Nick Rokop, is actually going to say a few words about Mark before we bring him on. So let's have a round of applause for Nick Rokop.
Hey, everybody. So what'd you think of the pitches? Yeah, huh? All right. I won't ask you which one's your favorite, because I think somebody's going to count the votes anyway. So Okay, so one of the things I do with my students in my classes is I emphasize that they should be going out and networking. Go out to events, go out to meet people, and actually get information and experience in the real world, not just in the classroom. I built a company on networking, actually several companies just on networking, and it's one of the ways that I met Mark. Mark and I have been in the tech community here in Chicago for quite a long time, and as it so happens, somebody introduced me to Mark, and we got together, we had a lunch, and we chatted, we found a lot of things that we had in common, and we developed a relationship, and that was probably about 15 years ago, and as a result of that, he's here now. Mark is an entrepreneur, he's an investor, he's now an author, he's been a teacher. He's just one of the really good people in the industry. He's one of those that cares about the entrepreneur. So I have a lot of friends that are venture capitalists, and I tell them all, I said, I like you guys, and I'm happy if you make money, but guess what? Whose side I'm always going to be on, and that's the entrepreneur. And you have some investors, actually, who are also a lot on the side of the entrepreneur, even though they make a lot of money. Mark is one of those guys, one of the good guys. So I want to introduce my friend, one of the good guys, Mark Agler.
Guys, how we doing? I might be winging this. We'll see. So hi, everybody. So first of all, let's hear it for the teams. It is so hard to be an entrepreneur. It is so hard to put your ideas out there in the world, to take the risk. And I just want to honor all the teams and the effort and the hard work they put into it. It was really phenomenal, really good work. All right. We actually might have a presentation. So I also just want to say, I have such a soft spot in my heart for IIT. My father of blessed memory in 1958, when I was born, was graduated from here with an engineering degree, and I've always had a soft spot in my heart for IIT, so you know. Okay, guys, are we ready, you think? No? Well, we'll give this one more second. I don't know. So while we're doing this, while we're waiting, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a book I wrote with one of my co-authors who's here, Murtish Theory, who is was my co-author. I wrote a book called Exit Right, and it's how to sell your company. And I know you guys are many of you are at the very beginning of your journey, and you're thinking, like, what does it mean? Like, why should I even think about how to sell my company? But I should tell you, wait, yes, no. Yeah. All right. Guys, what do you think? All right, no slides. I'm going to go for it. So when you sell a company, it turns out that the decisions you make at the very beginning of your journey have a real large outsized impact at the end of your journey. So who do you partner with? Who do you give equity to? How do you give equity to advisors or consultants? How do you split up the pie? All of those decisions have an outsized outcome. on the sale of a company. So when we started this journey, my partner Mert, who's here today, Mert was selling a company. He started a company 10 years ago called SwipeSense. And 10 years ago, when he started the company, Mert came and pitched me. And he pitched me as Math Venture Partners to invest in his company, and we said no. But no doesn't always mean no forever. It means no, not now. Or maybe not this company, but the next company. And so Mert came and pitched me. I said no, but I liked Mert, and we became good friends. And I became his coach and his advisor. And over the course of years, Mert came back to me a second time, and we said no. And Mert came back to me a third time, and we said no. But when it became time to sell his company, who did he turn to? He turned to, I was his unofficial advisor. I was his mentor, his coach. I wasn't his board member. I was not an investor. And I helped walk him through, which was a very difficult emotional journey. And you know, there were days when I had to talk him off the ceiling because things were going south. And the transaction happened. He sold his company to SC Johnson. And SC Johnson, big, giant packaged goods company, they totally understood how to buy another CPG company. They understood how to buy a warehouse. This was the first tech company they had ever bought. And it didn't go well. There was a lot of nuances to it. And so I'm having breakfast with Mert right after the transaction, and Mert is just rah, 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 rah. Mert's just complaining. I said, Mert, this is a moment of joy. This is a moment of celebration. Why are you complaining? And he's just grouching. I said, you know what? Why don't you write it down? Why don't you write it down while it's still fresh in your mind, and in the spirit of giving back? So Mert wrote it down, vomited 10 pages, and I said to Mert, the next time SC Johnson buys a tech company, you can say, this is what I went through, here's how we can make it better. And I looked at those pages, and I realized, there's so many books out there for how to start a business, how to raise money, how to sales, marketing, culture, HR, but there's very little books out there about how to actually sell a business. So we did something that was really fun. And we went out and we interviewed dozens of CEOs. And like myself, so I started 4 different businesses as a CEO. I have invested in over 100 businesses as a venture capitalist. I sit on dozens of boards. I've gone through lots of transactions. And I thought to myself, well, this will just reinforce what I already know. And it couldn't be further from the truth. I interviewed dozens of CEOs, and I said to them, okay, tell us the real story. Tell us what really happened. Tell us, what do you know today that you wish you knew before you started the process of selling your business? And tell us the good stuff. Tell us the wisdom, the hard-fought wisdom that if one of your adult children was selling a business, what would you tell them? And we got great stories. And I'm a big believer in empathy. So I'm a big believer in understanding everybody around the table. So we talked to M&A attorneys, and we talked to bankers, and we talked to the leaders at Corp Dev, at Facebook and Google and Microsoft and Apple and Atlassian and Snowflake and all the big Silicon Valley tech companies. And we said to them, all right, give us an example of one of your best transactions and why. And give us an example of one of your worst transactions and what made it so bad. Because transactions fail all the time. And we got great stories. And we said to them, what do you wish CEOs knew before they came to talk to you? And universally, The message was, don't wait. Don't wait until the end. Come and talk to us during the journey, during the process. Build trust, build a relationship. And every time you have an opportunity to talk to a corp dev leader or a competitor, it's also an opportunity to gain knowledge. So one of the beautiful things about being in university is we should always be curious. And when you have an opportunity to talk to a larger company, maybe a potential strategic acquirer someday, you can ask them questions like, where's your strategic roadmap? Where are your holes? What are you interested in? Where are you going? And sometimes they'll tell you and sometimes they won't, but it's always an opportunity to gain knowledge. And so from this journey, we came up with a framework which we call FAIR, which stands for Fit, Alignment, Integration, and Rationale. Fit. Is it a good cultural fit? Do the companies, like the test is, if you're on a long flight with the person that's buying your company, after the end of the 5-hour flight, are you still going to be wanting to talk to them? Is it a good cultural fit? Is there alignment? Alignment internally amongst all your stakeholders and alignment externally with the acquiring company. Is everybody aligned around the right goals? Integration. Integration is always the ugly stepchild that gets talked about after a transaction, and most transactions fail, and one of the reasons they fail is because there's never a good integration plan. And integration matters. It matters economically, especially if there's going to be some of the exit sale, if the price is attached to earnouts and future performance. If you have an earnout and future performance at stake, and it's based upon having the resources to execute your plan. If you don't have those resources, if you don't have the integration well designed, you're not going to achieve your exit. And last, rationale. Is there really a good rationale, so simple, so compelling, that you could explain it to your grandmother and she would understand it? Like, why is 1 + 1 = 100? Like, what does it mean to put two companies together? And let me give you a very concrete example. Most companies, when they get bought off a multiple of revenue. A multiple of revenue, whether it's top-line revenue or it's EBITDA, bottom-line revenue, is looking backwards. It's looking about what you did historically, but it's not looking forwards. It doesn't talk about the rationale of why together the two companies can do more. So one of my great examples of that is Instagram. When Facebook bought Instagram, everybody, for $1 billion, everybody thought that Mark Zuckerberg lost his marbles. It was a pre-revenue company. Do you know how much profit, not top-line revenue, profit Instagram brought to Facebook in 2019? Over $19 billion of profit. A third of the profitability of Facebook was Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg got it for a steal. What we didn't understand at the time was creating a mobile-first strategy and plugging in Instagram's audience into the Facebook sales engine. If you can create a rationale of why you are creating something of much greater value for the larger company, that's how you optimize return. I'll give you another concrete example. My partner at Math Venture Partners, Troy Henikoff, he had, in 1991, he had a little development shop that was doing about $1 million in revenue, and he developed a billing software system that was internal. And Medline, the big medical products company, wanted to buy them. And Troy said, no, I'm not really for sale. And they offered him a couple $1 million. He said, I'm not for sale. And they offered him 4. He said, I'm not for sale. And they offered him $5 million. 5x his revenue for a development shop. And Troy thought to himself, oh my God, I just hit the jackpot. These guys are nuts. Of course I'm gonna sell. Do you know what Medline did with his little billing software? Medline went to their customers, hospitals, and they said, we have this great billing software. If you take your existing 1-year contract and make it a 3-year contract, we will give you the billing software for free. Medline, in the first year of operation, created an incremental $100 million of revenue off of this billing software. What is $100 million of revenue to Medline? How much is that worth? I don't know, 5x, 10x? I don't know what that's worth. If you call it, they created an additional $500 million of value. Troy thought he was getting the bargain of the century when he sold his business for $5 million. He did not understand how or why Medline was buying him and the value that he was creating. So fit, alignment, integration, and rationale. The next thing that we cover in the book is an annual exit talk. So most entrepreneurs, myself included in all my businesses when I was first getting started, we don't like to talk about exits because there's a stigma attached to an exit talk. A stigma that says, oh, if you bring it up to your investors, your heart's not in it. Like you've lost interest. Turns out we have this idea. We think that once a year there should be an annual exit talk, first quarter, regularly scheduled, where the CEO can be very open and transparent with their board. There's no stigma attached. And you can just say, you know, it's way too early, we're still growing, we've got a lot of future ahead of us, or, you know, competition's starting to heat up, revenue's starting to slow down, maybe it's time, maybe it's getting a little bit time. And the thing about venture capital that most entrepreneurs don't understand is that when you take our money, you're taking our agenda. And our agenda is really simple. We want to make X amount of return in Y amount of time frame. So for us, we wouldn't make an investment unless we thought it could return the fund or make at least a 10x return for the fund, knowing that many investments fail. So the ones that work have to really work. That's the model. Our model's a little bit different, but that's the model for the industry. And funds have cycles. So it's typically a 7 to 10 year fund cycle. That means that we have pressure to give money back to our LPs, our investors. And if it's the first year of our fund, no pressure whatsoever. But if it's year 10 of our fund, well, then there's a lot of pressure. And then we're going to be, okay, it's time to sell, it's time to sell, it's time to sell. Not quite. I'm exaggerating, but not too far off. And so by having an annual exit talk, you can also not only have an open conversation about what the CEO is seeing and thinking and wanting and believing, but if you have other people's money, if you have investors, you can also have that conversation. And by the way, investors, we don't talk amongst each other either. We don't share where we are in the fund cycles and the pressures that we're under. So we think having an annual exit talk is really helpful. And by the way, an annual exit talk gives you the luxury of time. What I mean by that is if you have a little bit of time to plan, you can adjust the knobs a little bit. So if you think there's going to be a strategic acquirer as opposed to a financial acquirer, and you think that they might care more about top-line revenue and growth, well, maybe you could spend a little bit more money in sales and marketing and push top-line growth. If you think that the acquirer might be more of a financial acquirer, well, then maybe who cares more about EBITDA? Well, okay. Well, then maybe you can tighten the screws on profitability and really focus on making sure that your numbers are good. Maybe they care about your intellectual property. If you have a little bit of time, you can tighten up your data room, clean it up, make sure all of your intellectual property assignments are signed and done, make sure that your patent portfolio is robust. So giving yourself a little bit of time will also help improve the outcome. And the last thing I'll tell you is that relationships matter. Your reputation, your legacy matters. And one of the things I always ask CEOs is, are you just in it for yourself? Are you just maximizing your return? How important is it to protect your customers, your employees? Will your employees come to work for you in your next company? Will your investors want to invest in you in your next company? Will the acquiring company want to buy your next company? By the way, one of the things I learned when we talked to over 30 corp dev leaders. Do you know how do you get a promotion in corp dev in Silicon Valley? You leave one company and you go to the next company. That's how you get it. Like, they all moved around, and it's a really small world out there. Your reputation matters. How you treat people really matters. And so think about it from a long-term point of view, a long-term perspective. And I tell you, going back to Mert, who's a judge here, you'll see him in a second. Do you know what Mert's doing today? He is an executive in residence at my venture capital fund at Math. He's a full-time employee at Math Venture Partners. So not only did we co-author a book together, we're now co-workers. And the reason I say that is most entrepreneurs, myself included, we think of life sometimes as a transaction, as a moment in time. And you go, you pitch a VC, the VC says no, which we do most of the time, and you go, oh, that dumb VC, what do they know? And you move on to the next VC, or the next banker, or the next finance, and you just move on. But you're missing an opportunity. You're missing an opportunity to build a relationship, to build a friendship. And just because I might not invest in the moment, you could pivot and you could change your business and hit an inflection point, and now it's all of a sudden you meet our investment thesis. Or this idea is bad, but your next company is great. Or, 10 years can go by and I can help you sell your business and hire you, and you can become part of Math Venture Partners as an employee. Don't lose the opportunity to build a friendship and build a relationship. It's more than just a transaction in a moment in time. So I'll leave with that. I guess we did have it came up. No? Oh, it's okay. All right. Anyway, I'll open that. I know selling the company is so far in the future for most of you, but I'll open it up to Q&A, and if anybody has some questions, I'm happy to answer questions too. Yes. And I'm happy to answer anything about venture capital or how to raise money or whatever you'd like.
If anyone has questions, you can feel free to just raise your hand and project from where you're sitting. Can you turn it on? It's on. Hello? Here we go.
Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you. I'm Vinay with Discreetly. My question is regarding raising funds with VCs. When a VC is looking at a pitch deck or the materials that we provide, what is the key information that you guys look at and make your decision? Even if it's at that moment or in subsequent meetings, what's the key information that you guys use?
All right, so I'm going to answer your question a little bit different. So the question is, when you're pitching a VC, what is a VC looking for? And I'll start off with, I have 3 rules of empathy. My 3 rules of empathy is, it's not about you. It's always about the person sitting across the table from you. Do your homework, and I mean really do your homework. Prepare for the meeting. You know, spend as much time as possible. Interview CEOs of our portfolio companies and say, what do these guys like to work with? How did you get their money? Right? Really do your homework and bring a gift. And what I mean by bring a gift is add value. How can you add value to the conversation? Because it's not about you, how can you give back? So now to answer your question, every venture capital fund has an investment thesis. An investment thesis of how we're going to make money. So it could be stage, seed, early, A, B, later stage. Like, it could be geography. We only invest in Chicago, Midwest, United States, outside the United States. It could be by B2B or B2C. It could be by industry group. It could be healthcare or fintech, or pick an industry group, a segment. Every venture fund has their own investment thesis. So the first thing you have to do is do your homework, really understand the investment thesis of the fund that you're going to talk to, because if you're not appropriate, you should know that ahead of time if you're not going to match up with their investment thesis. Once you know their investment thesis, I think I'm holding the judges up here for a second. Once you know the investment thesis, then, like for us at Math Venture Partners, we love companies who have an unfair advantage in sales and customer acquisition. We think the greatest product in the world without customers is a great product. It's not a business. So if you were going to come pitch me, what I would care most about is we're early stage investors. We like to be the first real institutional money. We're more B2B than B2C. And I really care about how you're going to build your sales channels and where your leverage is in customer acquisition. So I hope that answers your question. But every fund is different.
Thank you.
All right. I think I'll let the judges come on back. So come on back, judges. Thank you all. Oh, and I have a free copy of the book. If anybody would like a copy of the book, you're more than welcome. I brought a copy. There you go. Now there's one right above you.
It's a good book.
Sure, you're welcome. Sure.
Appreciate it. Where's the co-author?
Here's the co-author.
Thank you, Mark.
Here's the...
All right. Thank you, judges, for what I'm sure was a difficult deliberation. You can feel free to take a seat if you would like. And we're going to get into the awards ceremony in just a bit. Before we do, a few words that I want to mention to all of the student entrepreneurs that were participating in either the audience choice competition or the finalists. I want to talk a little bit about the hard side of entrepreneurship. So a little bit about me. I teach entrepreneurship. I've been teaching it for a year, not formally as a professor. They don't let me do that yet. But I teach it in kind of my own way, very casual, one-on-one. And you know that kind of saying, those who can't do teach, you know, like the people that go to the NBA to coach because they couldn't play in the NBA themselves. That's pretty much my story, you know. I tried to be an entrepreneur. I worked at it for a couple years. I graduated from Illinois Tech a few years ago, and I was doing what all of these students are doing, and I was pretty unsuccessful. Made, you know, a small amount of money, but if I had to think about the amount of time that I put in versus how much revenue I generated, it would be on the order of cents, my hourly wage, I'm pretty sure. But I don't feel bad about that, because I always think about entrepreneurship as one of the major sports, just like basketball, football, soccer, in the sense that to be a successful entrepreneur, is as difficult as it is to be in the NBA or to be in the NFL. If you look at the math with how many people are successful as entrepreneurs versus failing, it's as difficult as being, on Hollywood or being on, a professional athlete. It's a hard thing to do. And so that's why I don't feel bad that I haven't been successful at it yet, because I've got a long life to go. And I'm going to keep trying at it. And one day I'm going to get there because it's the thing that I love. And it's the thing I love to do. And I'm working towards it in a slow way, in my own way. And I'm getting a lot every day from the students, meeting with them, learning from them. They're inspirations for me personally in the work that I want to do. And so that's what I want to kind of tell you before we give out the awards is entrepreneurship is a long, long game. It's a lifetime thing you get to do. That's the thing that's better, actually, about being an entrepreneur than wanting to be in the NFL or wanting to be, an actor. They typically have shorter careers. By the time you're 40 years old, your body can't, play football like that. An entrepreneur, you get to play your whole life. I've met entrepreneurs that come here 90 years old, 100 years old, and they're like, I'm not retiring. This is what I love to do, and my brain is as sharp as ever, and so I get to do it for my whole life. And so that's what I want you to think about today. This is a great opportunity. There will be many more opportunities to come, bigger opportunities, and people will continue to come out and support you as you do what you do. And so even if you don't win the prize today, the fact that you stood up here and you shared what you work on and what you love, you'll start building those connections. It'll lead to more opportunities down the road. And so whether you win first place or nothing at all, just keep that in mind. This is a very small step in what I hope will be a very long journey. And the most important thing is that every day you get closer to being able to do what you love for a living every day. Even though I don't get to run a startup of my own, doing those kinds of projects opened up the opportunities for me to still get to do the things I'm passionate about and get paid for it. And so there are many benefits to entrepreneurship. It's not just about exiting and making $1 billion or whatever. If you can try to build a life around doing the things that you love, those things will work out. The opportunities are there, the demand is there, and it'll work out one way or the other. The way that you've been working at this, if you just keep up that spirit, good things are ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now the very nerve-wracking part is announcing the awards. I have them Oscar style here in envelopes. I have not opened them, so it will be as much of a shock to me as it is to all of you. Third place for the Audience Choice Competition, winning $2,000. Can we please have a round of applause for Team Receptify? Receptify. If you are still here, I would love for you to come down, get a picture, get your big check. All right. We can do pictures at the end, and so make sure you stick around for pictures. Oh, or yeah. We'll take a screenshot of the recording. All right, and would one of you like to tell us briefly a little bit about Receptify?
Absolutely, a little winded. So what we're building is a communication platform that connects students who have experienced sexual violence with university administrators who provide care for it. Really quick intro to what we're doing, so yeah.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Well deserved. All right, second place, winning $4,000 in the Audience Choice Competition is Kinetic Footwear. Congratulations. Come on down. Congratulations. Thank you. We're missing one. It's like when that friend tells you to take a photo, but then they're recording a video, and you're just kind of standing there. All right, thank you very much. Oh, you already know about them. They gave their whole pitch. All right, and we are at first place for the audience choice competition. The winner of $6,000 is Team Lockheed. Congratulations, come on down. All right, thank you, Lockheed. That was up the whole time. All right, and now a quick thank you, a little commercial break. Thank you to our judges today. I wish I could list them out, but there are so many of them. Truly appreciate all of you not only taking the time to come today, but reviewing materials ahead of time. Many of you came to pitch practices to help support the teams. Your contributions are not lost on us. We understand that you have a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of opportunities, and the fact that you would take time to judge our competition, to meet with our students, provide them support, it's so, so appreciated. Can we have one huge round of applause for our judges today? I also want to say a big, big, big thank you to Team Genesis. Genesis is our, yeah, clap it up. Most of them are up here in the front row. They have been working tirelessly all semester from the venture capital perspective to support our teams. They've been coordinating with judges, putting together thorough investment memos, meeting with every single of the 14 teams to support them and provide them advice. I can't believe that you're also undergraduate students. The level of professionalism has been amazing, so thank you so much. While I'm on this, I don't have a slide, but I want to thank my organizing team, my partner, Gavin, the whole KI staff team. I just want to say that when I came down after a couple pitches ago, one of my team members, Bo, brought me this, which is a pack of AAA batteries, because I mentioned that the clicker was not working. And I just want to say, like, I love that. People supporting each other, having each other's back, that's what it's all about. It's so IIT. Thank you, Bo, for the batteries. We got it working. And thank you to everyone this past month who's been putting in long hours to make this possible. I definitely can say it was well worth it as we sit here today and hear all of the pitches. I've had goosebumps multiple times, and so your hard work has definitely paid off. And finally, the grand prize winners. I don't have the envelopes for this one. Doug? I guess you're announcing this one.
My name's Doug Monison. I'm a trustee at Illinois Tech, but I've been angel investing since 2008. Looking around, the judges were people that we started when there was no angel investing in Chicago, and the best teams would move out to the coast. I love what's been done here. Every single team, whether you finished 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, you guys are all winners, and great job by everyone. So for the third place team is a team that I actually did a practice pitch with. I love entrepreneurs that adjust. It's not the initial idea, it's all the pivots. The third place team is Pill Skills, so come on up. Congratulations. Yes. No photographer.
Doug, we want you back. No, you're in. All right. Thank you. Congratulations, Pill Skills. They'll be taking home $5,000, and our next team, the second place winners, will be taking $15,000. Here it is to present it, Amanda Lannert.
Giant opportunity, really palpable pain. In the push-pull of we want you to have, I need to have, we think this is a very, very strong push. Great use of technology. Best tagline we saw. And I can add in the progress this team has made over the course of this program is incredible. Second prize goes to Discreetly.
Yeah, stare at that camera for about 3 or 4 seconds and we're going to take something out of it. Are we good? All right, we're good.
So exciting. Mert is going to come up and announce first place, the grand prize winner of Kaplan Pitch Tank, and the people who will be taking home $30,000 to kickstart their business. Take it away.
One of the things that I personally value most in any founder, in any entrepreneurial team, is a bias towards action. Is to go out there, face the dragons, and do the deed. You will learn so much, no matter how imperfect your idea is up front. You going out there, learning, iterating, is what makes you a super person. And creating that culture in your startup is the hope for a long, long time that everybody coming after you follows this. Today, every founder demonstrated that, but one demonstrated that more than others. So the first place for this year's Kaplan Startup Competition is Quickie Cards.
All right, well deserved. I just find it so interesting and coincidental that the audience choice winners were 2 of the finalists, and the grand prize finalists were the other 3, and it just goes to show how subjective entrepreneurship is. It's hard for anyone to judge, it's hard for anyone to say, and I think all 5 of you and all of the teams that participated have a chance to do really successful things. Final thing I want to say is one more thank you to the audience. You guys have been phenomenal. Thank you for joining us. And to say thank you to you, we've planned a little bit of a networking party. So after this, if you'd like to head upstairs, we're going to have appetizers, drinks, music. We'll be hanging out, and it'll be a chance for you to meet one another, the contestants, the judges. So please join us upstairs for a networking event, and have the most amazing night. See you next year at Kaplan Pitch Tank. Bye, everybody. I was looking at you, you were giving me good energy back.